No, it can't be. Is that me? That can't be me. I'm not dead.
Time is on my side.
I know I haven't passed on. I'm obviously dreaming, because death isn't me being put into some anonymous fridge in this city in the middle of nowhere. I know I'd be flown back home right away. You couldn't have my kind of death in a place like this. I mean, this is just a joke. This isn't death. These are just people.
The pathology assistant, an examination of the head, has reflected the scalp and made a cut of the calvarium, the top, with a striker-type saw. The skull cap is now being removed. A term sometimes used of bread loafing, which is to describe this procedure.
This isn't a bleeding cooking show. That's my brain, where I got my songs
The majority
from.
of the organ is returned to the body. They're all placed together in a plastic bag, and the organs are placed back in the main body cavity.
On skull, upper right rear quadrant of cranium, there is apparently a concave indentation in the scalp to assume that the cause of death was a golf ball. In this case, propelled by a professional golfer, probably using a number 5 iron on the 8th hole on quite a beautiful trajectory, reaching about 52 metres and cutting swiftly short on a downward curve at approximately 57 degrees before its path was interrupted by a cranium of deceased. A golf ball.
Time is on my side. Time is on my side.
I'm still thinking. If I'm dead, then why am I thinking? If I'm dead, why am I asking why I'm thinking? I presume I'm going home now. I want a private plane and a closed airport.
You know, when you're taking that person on their, you know, they're in the car with you, you sort of feel like you're taking them on their last drive, and it's quite a feeling, really.
This isn't the way to the airport. No, please, not again. I don't like this. At the same time, I don't really care now. It's like watching a movie. I'm not starring in it. I'm just a bit player.
The best way to describe embalming is that it is simply, it's like a massive transfusion. We're taking the blood out of the body and we're replacing it with a preservative chemical that is, and the chemical is going to have some color in it so that the skin tones will appear a little more natural. We're just going through a stage here where we're getting the chemical and the water mixed together, and at this point we can open the system, and we're now going to physically start injecting the arterial chemical into the body.
They're draining me out. I really am going. But what is it I'm losing? I never thought about the past. I always lived in the present. And now I'm even losing the present. I'll just be an object now. I mean, it's the image still, on the outside, like a picture. But it's really only a picture. There's nothing left.
I see how he had the top, he had a bit of curl in the top of his hair. So I'll just go over the top with the curling iron, and basically the rest I can just comb back and just push under the pillow, under his neck, into the pillow of the casket.
Our first manager said to me, look, the whole thing is that all these girls, all these people want to get next to you. That's what's going to bring in the money. You making out with 10 million people. You see, you're a fantasy, he said to me, and you're looking into the eyes of all these women, and each one of them thinks you're looking at her and her alone. This manager said to me I was making out with each member of the audience. It was a chore, really, coming on to the whole bloody lot of them. What is this place? These are bloody crypts. They aren't gonna put me in here. This isn't being done properly. I should be on a jet with the others. I hired managers and agents to avoid exactly this kind of thing. I've never been left alone like this.
The importance of the paper trail is that we can identify who the deceased is and that the casket is the correct casket. Now we're going to put it in.
Look, I was never properly on view. There wasn't the time. No one from England came over. And now you're cremating me. I want to go back to the chapel. You can't do this to me.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close the retort door and I'm going to light the casket.
I have survived every bloody assault by morality, from being called a corrupter of youth to a satyr. The Miami concert, the one with the murders didn't do it. My drag trial didn't do it. Trends didn't do it. Not disco, not punk.
And we'll take this cremation to a top temperature of 2100 degrees.
I'm on fire, but I can't feel anything.
Just as a matter of
I only feel the cold.
The heavier caskets take
It's getting colder.
light caskets. Essentially bone fragments with some ash. The ashes would be from the casket itself. I'm going to move the bone fragments to the cremulator over there. Then I put the balls in.
Flying around the world. Concerts, studios, financial meetings. Barbados, New York, Tokyo. There was a problem being tied to a created persona, this rock and roll entity, which I could not shake off. I thought it would end, but it hasn't, and I'm still here except in a smaller box at home.
Wild West Express. I don't think that's going to fit in the overnight letter. How's this?
They're not even sending me first class. But my advice to all of you is, you can't let it get you down. The bicycle effect, you know. Keep pedaling or you'll fall over. You've got to find the right vehicle and ride it. For example, in my case, it has been sex. It's how I've always related to people. And it's funny, even now, in this package, I'm actually getting randy. I've got a hankering to have it off with a flight attendant in the lavatory. I mean, sex does remain a way of being sort of with everyone at once, which is why I was going to have the ashes distributed grain by grain, or sold for a cause. One idea was to have the remains blended with rubber for dildos, or with latex for condoms. I mean, it was a way to keep going, but it seemed very crass. There had to be another way, in a sense, to have it off eternally with everyone, with the world. So in my will, I had a romantic request that my ashes were to be scattered where two great oceans, the Atlantic and the Indian, meet at Cape Point on the southernmost tip of Africa. I had no idea then that this was how it was going to end. If it does.